Welcome back to Fire Emblem Engage. Last time we got the Emblem of Heroes, kind of ironic since she's basically a villain, which apparently is only worth 100 bond fragments, so I don't really have a whole lot to play with when leveling her up on others. But I have realized that Camilla on Clan was not really working out, and you know what? I think I'm actually going to switch Clan back to Chrom. It's amazing how Chrom gives Clan everything he needs in this playthrough. More magic, a lot more HP, even though he still dies sometimes, and physical weapons.
Lady Chrom! I'll protect you!
This might also be the last time I get to use Clan as a mage knight, because the Fell's inner log works a little differently, so I want to bring back his mainstay emblem for this. And you know what, let's actually just show petting Somi now, because I haven't really done that for a while, even though this is kind of cursed. This means that my other option for Veronica is probably Jean at this point, even though Jean is doing really well with Byleth, and unlike Byleth, Veronica does not also raise speed, which is something that Jean really needs since, as I've recently discovered, he's actually capped speed as a sage. I was even going to go with Aaliyah for Veronica until I realized that I really need a good Lucina user for the next paralog because conversations. And yes, proof of concept there. So I think I will try this. Also, for some reason, maybe because it's a spin-off, Heroes is considered a later game than Three Houses, even though it came out earlier. Yeah, the emblems are actually arranged in order of, like, their game's release.
I am Veronica, Princess of Embla.
You look about the same age as me, but you're so calm on the battlefield. I truly respect that.
Interesting. I would have personally thought Veronica was a lot older than Jean's data mind age. Well, not like a lot older, but she definitely feels mid-teens to me, not like 10, 12-ish.
There's no need for that. And I am not a child. I am Veronica. I welcome you.
Are you getting enough rest? Being well rested is important in order to avoid injury.
It's kind of a rare case of the engaged character acting as a mentor to the emblem. Veronica does kind of need it.
I'm not sure what I should do to rest. Will you take a break with me?
Well, that's kind of funny coming from someone who makes your victory line while engaged. I am ready for a rest. Also, I could use some tea after that, which means Veronica probably already does know how to relax. I'm basically out of bond fragments, and that could be a problem, since with the Fell's inner log, I want to use some people outside my main party, and emblem levels do carry over to that, although, you know, that'll be a question for then, not now. I'm actually not sure what your speed cap is. I don't know how close you are to that. Well, I was kind of hoping that would happen. In my head, it was like, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if it was 41. So I am actually starting to see a lot of cap stats on my party now. Now, if I fight somebody really good here, I might get a level up on Amber.
Let's fight so hard that we start a legend.
I am Erica. Welcome.
I don't think that'll be enough.
Oh, they'll write about this in history books for sure.
Barely not. Yes, let's serve a chocolate orange with rare fish.
I'm making this extra special for you, Divine One.
Well, I mean, it wasn't bad, but it does mean I don't get that, Soren thing, which I should fix now. By Soren thing, I mean the favorite food combo. So now it's time for one final Divine Paralog. And yeah, there's only one location left to go, this little isolated island within an island, the Altar of Destiny. Will destiny change, or is it all written? It's fitting that I should use that quote, because that's where this map is based on. So, before I get into this, just a quick warning. I will be giving some red-hot, spicy takes here. I've kind of already alluded to this before in some of my thoughts on Awakening, but one of the characters involved here...
This temple seems promising. Let's keep our eyes peeled for another emblem bracelet.
I don't really perceive the same way a lot of fans do, especially those who started with Awakening.
Ah, I found it. Look, it's the bracelet of the Shepherd Exalt.
But on a more positive note, this might be my favorite DLC bracelet design. Like, I love how they integrated, like, the hilt of falchion into the bracelet.
Interesting. There's an unusual presence inside this one. Let's try the invocation. Awaken, Emblem of Bonds.
Straight up using the game's title. Emblem Chrom. Oh, and Robin's here too. Unlike the emblems of the Sacred and Rivals, Robin is more of an Knuckles style addition than an emblem in his own right, though Veronica can still summon him. Chrom and Robin are an all-round physical and magical emblem with a varied skill set that every character will at least appreciate part of, but few can appreciate all of. Their first sync skill, Surprise Attack, is great on covert units, as it means if you attack from terrain with an avoid bonus, the foe can't counter. At Bond level 4, you get Robin's famous Rally Spectrum, though it only affects adjacent allies at this point. It's still a pretty good all-round stat boost. And at Bond level 8, you get... Brute Force! I never knew Chrom was flak. The game simply says this makes criticals do increased damage. It actually boosts their damage by 33%, which is pretty significant, though it only affects physical weapons. Their engaged skill, Other Half, has two distinct effects. Firstly, it gives magic plus 10 while the engage is active. Now this is probably meant to make physical units capable of doing actual damage with Robin's magic weapons, but in practice, it also makes already powerful mages even better. The second effect is that Robin will chain attack in every one of the user's combats, and if you're a dragon, Robin chain attacks twice. This still has the usual 80% chain attack accuracy, but if they both hit, this essentially means everything you attack has 20% less health. Backup units don't even have to worry about the chain attack accuracy, every enemy they fight has 10% less health, and coverts get move plus 1 while engaged. Their engage attack is either extremely powerful or extremely pathetic, depending on who you are and what you're fighting. It doesn't deal any extra damage or have any special effects. It's simply an attack using physical power that hits the enemy's resistance stat. But the effects of Robin's Ignis are represented by the Dragon and Mystical bonuses. Dragons deal damage equal to half their strength, while Mysticals deal extra damage equal to half their magic. Flyers add their build to the damage, which can be okay if you have a very bulky flyer, while if Lucina is adjacent, all adjacent allies will chain attack. Chrom, or at this point Robin's, engage weapons are the Levin Sword, which is weaker than the normal weapon version found in Engage, but then there's Thoron, which is very different from the normal version found in Engage, because this one is not long range, just restricted to 1 to 2, but it can double attack. For higher Bond levels, at 13 you get Charm, which raises the accuracy of chain attacks you instigate to 90%, including Robin's chain attack while engaged. And at Bond 18, Rally Spectrum becomes a true rally skill, affecting all allies within 2 spaces. You also get Chrom's Bond 15 weapon, Falchion, yet another variant of this, and it's yet another Engage weapon that's effective against dragons, which is not the best due to how Engage handles them. Corrupted Worms not counting as dragons and all that. Chrom and Robin's bonuses cap out at +3 strength, +5 dexterity, and +4 speed, a nice bonus to have on a physical attacker. For inheritable skills, their stat boost is speed and dex, and their guard skill is Sword Guard. Swords aren't the most powerful weapons, especially in the enemy's hands, so I don't see this being very useful. Surprise Attack is inheritable, but it's insanely expensive. Though if you have the DLC and you're using Yunaka, she probably wants this. Rally Spectrum and Brute Force are a little expensive, but are nice to have. Especially since it only costs 500 extra SP to upgrade to the better version of Rally Spectrum once you're at Bond 18. Charm is also an option, and may be nice if you're using Boucheron, since his personal skill already gives him bonuses when people chain attack in his combats. Just remember this won't affect chain attacks from the unit. Only chain attacks they trigger. Finally, Chrom gives sword proficiency at Bond 6, though that's hardly a rare one, and Robin... What is it with DLC emblems and giving tone proficiency at Bond 16? Though admittedly, sources of it are rare after Chapter 11. Overall, for the last DLC emblem, Chrom and Robin are unfocused, and there aren't many people who can benefit from their entire kit. But the magic plus 10 while engaged can be very strong.
Awake at last. I feel like I slept for quite a while.
I will always take hearing more Matthew Mercer in anything ever.
Guess I can't tease you for those long naps of yours anymore.
Well, maybe when they're on the ground.
Hello?
Ah, sorry, we're just getting our bearings. Nice to meet you. I'm Chrom.
He's the leader of the Shepherds. I'm Robin, his tactician.
I believe that's still David Vincent? Like, it's kind of rare that I hear David Vincent with fully voiced lines as Robin, because, you know, Awakening only had partial voice acting.
If you're the one who awakened us, then you have my thanks.
Yeah, that definitely does sound like David Vincent.
Yes. I'm the Divine Dragon. So, you're two emblems in the same bracelet?
Aaliyah, you've already experienced this phenomenon twice before, but this one's more like 1.5 emblems than 2 or 3.
Right, but it's not that surprising. Robin and I are bound by ties stronger than fate.
What do you mean?
Well, you see, in an alternate timeline, he killed me, but we fixed that.
I swore an oath to Chrom when we'd lost his older sister, the Exalt Emerald.
Yeah, so, okay, this right here, this is where I'm gonna get into my hot takes.
Neither of us was half the person she was, but together we became something more.
From then on, we supported each other through thick and thin, no matter the danger.
I don't even remember Robin doing anything like that after, yeah, by the way, the whole Emerald thing. Yet more cases of emblems casually spoiling their home games. But I don't even remember what Robin did in that scene. And, like, to me, that whole moment was never a particularly Chrom and Robin-centric moment. It was entirely a Chrom moment.
My sister fought for a peaceful world. Together, Robin and I made that a reality.
And this here too, it's just another one of the reasons why Awakening's plot is kind of weird to me, because Robin felt like they were on the sidelines until the third arc, at which point Robin suddenly became the main character, and then Chrom was unceremoniously shunted to the sidelines in what should have been his big moments. So to me, Awakening never really presented Chrom and Robin as equals in the story. One of them was always vastly upstaging the other, and as a result, I came out of Awakening never really considering Chrom and Robin to be that close. To me, their relationship was more co-worker-employee than the destined partners thing they've got going here.
That's a wonderful story. We're also fighting to make our world a peaceful one. Would the two of you be willing to put your efforts toward another happy ending?
The funny thing about Aaliyah saying another happy ending here is, it reminds me of back in the early days of Awakening's release. Apparently it got major backlash online for having a happy ending, and I'm just like, Fire Emblem is not known for depressing endings. Like, up until Awakening, pretty much the only Fire Emblem that had not had an unambiguously happy ending was maybe Sacred Stones, and even then only if you really squint. Oh, I guess Fire Emblem 7, but that was a prequel.
Of course, we'd be honored.
Honored? But I haven't even told you what's happening.
I knew I could trust you the moment I looked into your eyes.
Don't worry, we're also pretty straightforward heroic types. We know one when we see one.
Chrom follows his instincts. He trusted me right away too, even though I'd lost my memory.
Yeah, I think some people have kind of given Chrom flack for that, but I mean, I think Chrom's character is fine. It's just, again, my main issue is just how badly he gets upstaged by Robin and Lucina in the last arc. Speaking of Lucina, yeah, I'll go into that later.
Well, I appreciate the confidence.
Before we join you, though, I think we'll have to see for ourselves what you're made of.
So wait, you're gonna reach inside of me and try and take my energy?
Agreed. It takes strength and fortitude to win a fight. We should make sure you have both.
Don't worry, it's not a formal test. Just show us what you've got and trust it'll be enough.
Don't worry, it's not a formal test, except we will kill you if we reduce your HP to 0.
I understand. Let's get started.
So for the DLC chapter I'm doing last, this one is pretty interesting because, okay, so for one, the map is based on Chapter 22 of Awakening, and also the prologue, Invisible Ties, which is called Fate or Bonds in Japanese, which I thought was a little bit more of a fitting name. So it doesn't really look like there are a lot of enemies on the field yet. That's going to change. Also, you may notice there's a big barrier of doom in front of the bosses here. And also, when I said way earlier, that, like, oh, you know, if only you fought both Erica and Ephraim in their paralogue. Well, yeah, we're now actually fighting two emblems at once. So we've got Emblem Chrom here, who took a while to get out his sword, and yet another falchion. Oh, hey, he's borrowing Robin's Levin sword. He's got Brute Force, Charm, Surprise Attack. I don't know how much evade terrain there is on this map, though. Other Half, which is weird because Robin's actually a unit here. And this thing. Oh, and he has equal strength. Oh, he's considered to be engaged, so he's got that Robin bonus. So, okay, like, he's actually a full-on mixed attacker, which is not something Chrom can really be in his home game. Other than that, pretty solid all-round stats, which is what Chrom was in his home game. And Robin himself also pretty solid all round, apart from higher than usual magic, and this Thoron, as I've already said, it can double attack and it is not 3 range. He's also got Rally Spectrum, so be a little careful of that, but he's got 1 less health bar than Chrom, though if you do this paralogue early, neither of them will have any extra health bars. So the gimmick of this map is that you need to smash all 3 of these crystals at the same time in order to destroy the barrier, so this map basically forces you to split up your initial forces. However, let's just say that Robin may have a scale tipper in mind for if you do that. It's kind of cool. Also, the longer you take to smash the 3 crystals, the more reinforcements that will spawn on the other side of the barrier. So there's a balancing act of rushing to these fast enough, but not so fast that you get too reckless. But okay then, we've got, well, firstly, let's decide on who we bring here, because fortunately they do let you bring a full 10 units to this. And, right, I need to think of somebody else who has to take Byleth, because I kind of want to try using Veronica with, Jean.
Veronica!
I'll fight for you.
Okay, that's the same magic boost as Byleth, but no speeds. That could be a bit of a problem. I think I'm going to go with, some people in the comments suggested this, Flying Dancer.
Camilla.
Isn't this nice?
And it also means that I get to use the Ice Floors. I probably need Ivy for the healing support. Although I do seem to remember there are actually some dangerous flyers in this map that it might be good to have Anna around to one-shot. And in fact, I mean, Vale's done really well in the last few maps, so yeah. I might use her in the Fel. She's very good in the Fel Xenologue, so this will not be the last time you see her. Don't worry. Okay, it might not be optimal to drop you in favor of Dragon Tamara, but I haven't used her in so long. I do really need Byleth on somebody. So how about we instead go for Flying Byleth?
Byleth.
I'm ready.
Which does mean I have to reorder your inventory a little bit. Alright, time to tip their scales.
No need to hesitate. Come at us with everything you've got.
Let's see how you handle our strategy.
Now that's strategy, as Robin would say.
That barrier is in our way. We'll have to figure out how to break through it.
Well, it's easy. You just summon Lloyd, the emblem of... Wait, no. Yeah, Lloyd would have a field day here with this barrier.
Divine One, it looks like those crystals might be generating the barrier.
Let's try smashing one and see what happens.
It's nice to see Alfred get dialogue in these. Because, as I said earlier, you have to have reached a point where you've recruited him in order to do the Divine Paralogs in the first place. And we have this song back, which is still a really great song. That is actually problematic because... okay. Well, I guess I have to let you guys charge into me, which I'm not totally opposed to. Yeah, I believe this is Destiny.
Let's go!
Still really enjoy this song. Okay, Silver Grux. I think in this map I want to go for some early engages, just because it's actually fairly short, so generally want to get them out of the way as soon as possible. Speaking of which...
Sounds perfect.
Emblem,
Engage!
I do want to go for my summon right from the start. Oh, that outfit looks pretty cool on you. So, okay then. So if you go for colorless, it is possible to summon another Veronica, which is hilarious, but let's see. I'm gonna go for green, just in case I get a certain person who I might be able to use as cannon fodder, but I doubt I'll actually get them.
Come to my aid, hero.
Okay, who's it gonna be? Okay, we didn't quite get the dud, but we got, 4-star general. So, these are the stats of Miss... Actually, this is not that bad. Like, honestly, this is probably better than Louis at this point. It almost reminds me of, like, common blades in Xenoblade 2 sometimes actually being a lot better than rare blades. But yeah, he's got swap as well. Steel Great Axe, 64 standard attack power. I mean, okay, I need to not put him near mages. And I summoned him near a bunch of mages, so that's a bit unfortunate. And I want all of those warriors to go for Lapis, so... And I want those ones to go for Amber, so maybe this was not actually the best. However, if only one of the mages attacks him, it's probably okay. Now, I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to... Yeah, you're not allowed to trade with them, because otherwise you could lose your items if they disappeared. Yeah, resist the urge to destroy just yet. Yeah, I probably want to wait and lure them before I start doing some crazy dance combos. Oh, there are the pillars, so yeah, you just want to make sure that Chrom doesn't attack you from the pillars.
Devoted to you.
Yeah, I might want to save my Astra Storm, because I might need that later. There will be some flying reinforcements. So yes, it's epic fabrication on fabrication action. Unfortunately, oh, that's more damage than I was expecting, but thankfully, yeah. I don't even, like, I'm pretty sure fabrications have, like, no dialogue, so they're just gonna make grunts if they critical or, if they win a fight. It's actually kind of funny, if you summon an emblem, I've kind of done this off camera just to test this out. If you summon an emblem, emblems have, like, critical quotes and, like, attack quotes and all that. They don't have victory quotes. So, if an emblem summoned by Veronica kills something, they just stand there in awkward silence, and it's just kind of, well, awkward. It's funny, my first emblem that I ever got in testing was Leaf with, from the blue orb with Master Lance, which is kind of silly. He was actually pretty good with the Master Lance, though. Because I think Leaf's build is actually quite solid. Admittedly, I was testing them in, like, level 1 Tower of Trials, which is, like, a complete joke. But yeah, reinforcements. So yeah, they'll start gathering up there, so you are on a little bit of time pressure to break all of the crystals. And what's cool is that one of the reinforcement spawns on this map is actually triggered by... I kind of alluded to it earlier, but it's triggered by, I don't know if Dragon Fist is going to kill the... Nope, it is definitely not going to kill that general. But I mean, let's engage plus anyway. And do no damage. Yeah, don't even try and destroy the crystals. It's not worth it until you have all 3 of them in your sights at once. Yeah, that Engage Plus was worth it entirely for the massive evasion boost here. It is really nice getting to see this map fully modeled in 3D, because that wasn't actually something that, like, really happened in Awakening itself. Definitely should be able to obliterate you guys. Let's use the Hlithskjalf, I think. People in the comments told me it's pronounced differently, but according to what I googled of, like, the Norse thing that it's based on...
I could use some tea after that.
I think it's Hlithskjalf. Also, that quote is totally appropriate. Oh, but hey, you actually are getting a level boost. Interesting. And level boost means that you... yeah. You're not going to get any more stats above your caps, though. So that's something to keep in mind. If only you were healed. I might actually need to heal you. That would be fun. But also got to remember that there are... Or alternatively, I can just use you to boink this guy. Yeah, it would have been more interesting if I got an emblem, but still, like, this does show that these summon fabrications are... I was about to say useful, but then that happened. Yep, you were determined to prove me wrong. Also, you know what? I actually promised to give that Brionac tangent, and even though I'm going to engage and not really show Brionac here, I can say this now. So, Brionac is interesting because, it's a very common name for, it's a very common name for legendary lances in JRPGs. But it turns out that it's actually very much like the Ichival from Fire Emblem 4.
I'm not alone anymore.
In that it is something that Mandela Effect has led people to believe is a real mythological thing, but it actually isn't. It does not exist outside of Japanese fantasy. It's supposedly the name for the lance wielded by Lu from Irish mythology, and while Lu definitely did have a lance, it's definitely not called, like, there's no evidence that it was called Brionac. And yet Brionac, like, the name Brionac appears in Trails of Cold Steel 3, it appears in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and now this, just for, like, you know, those are just the ones that, like, the games that I've played myself. But it is kind of interesting. It's just like, if you... I would definitely recommend looking up the whole Ichival situation, because there's an entire blog that dedicated a, Are you guys longbows? No, you are silvers, right. But there's an entire blog that was kind of dedicated to, like, chronicling the weird case of, like, Ichival, which was... It's called Ufal, officially. It's the bow of Ulir from Fire Emblem Genealogy of the Holy War, the one that, what's her name again? Brigid, the one that she starts with. So, like, it is actually, like, it's named after something from Norse mythology, like a valley of yew trees, and that's why it got localized the way that it did. But somehow, the basic story is somebody added it to Wikipedia under, like, a list of legendary items as, like, a bow wielded by Odin. And then somehow Odin, in, like, a game, I think it was Smite, ended up getting Ichival as, like, a legendary, like, alternate weapon, even though it was never a real thing that existed in mythology. And in fact, the only reason it existed in mythology was because of Fire Emblem, of all things. So yeah, that was amusing. I do want to clear out the initial enemies. It's kind of silly to use Goddess Dance just for this, but... Okay, well, first things first. You guys have a lot of lances. I'm gonna go engage, but I'm not gonna fail naught like usual, and instead I'm going to just use... Although Arid Bar has less accuracy. I'm gonna equip Arid Bar anyway. I hate that I am not one-rounding you, just barely. I mean, if I Luna, but I don't like using Alcrest when I need Luna. But at the same time, this gives me two people in Goddess Dance, so okay. Come on, Luna. Oh wait, no, I got Dual Assist. That means that I still win. So yeah, nice one, Dual. That wasn't even Dual Assist Plus, I think, so that was like just a 30% chance. But okay, this is a really weird use of Goddess Dance.
Emblem, engage.
But I just want to get rid of, like, everything in this vicinity right now, because let's just say we will be dealing with more.
Let the lesson begin.
So yeah, here's Ivy with Violet, which I feel like I could have sworn that I've used this in one of my files. I definitely haven't used this in this playthrough so far. It's probably kind of painful for her, given the memories of her sister being controlled and using Violet, but still. Yeah, Thoron's guaranteed here. Hey Robin, here's my Thoron. Although, yeah, Awakening was the first game to establish Thoron as like the Hyper Beam of Thunder. It's kind of interesting that I'm getting some level ups on Jean here, but it's annoying that I can't actually see the levels he's gaining. Okay, you guys do get double, but you have 46 attack on Alcrest. I think he's probably okay. I just want to make sure that he doesn't go anywhere where the snipers can end up walking into a void terrain. They're probably gonna go for... No, they're not. Okay. I don't really like that crit rate, though. It's often my catchphrase when I play these kind of games. Yeah, in fact, okay, here's actually something, speaking of Byleth and speaking of snipers, something that I have not actually talked about yet. In fact, I planned to at one point, but I never really got the chance to. I got interrupted by something else. So, okay. The way that, so it is actually possible if you have the Rafale gem, like the Rafale gem, or however that's pronounced,
It was a good try.
Byleth's engaged weapon on a key adept. So, if you have that, it's actually possible to get crit by an enemy sniper that has 0% hit rate. Why is this? Well, this is how it works. What seems to happen is that the Rafale gem reduces... Oh, you're a magic user, not a puncher. Right there. What seems to happen is the gem lowers the enemy's critical rate to 0.
Their formation's disrupted. Is it time, Robin?
Ah, this is the scales tipping attack.
Definitely. Let's move on to the next phase of the plan.
Yeah, here I am getting interrupted again. But basically what happens is that everything turns to water.
The area is flooded. Is their plan to block our progress?
And also lower our evasion. And some sages. And that's why I wanted to save Astrostorm. And also why I wanted to bring Anna to this map. So how that seems to work is that the gem reduces the enemy's critical to 0 before the sniper class skill raises critical rate.
It was a good try.
But the displayed crit is only taking into account, like, the Rafale gem, so it says the enemy's crit is 0, but actually it gets raised up to, like, 10 due to the skill in the middle of combat, and that's how that happens. Yeah, Tiki is actually not a flying unit unless you yourself are a flying unit, so that's why that's happening. In fact, now might be a good time to...
Emblem, engage!
Have a flying dancer. Also, I can clear this terrain with groundswell, but it's probably more fun to do this. Cedo looks really, really cool with Camilla's outfit, though. He almost looks like a JRPG villain. Yeah, I do feel like it would be better for me to get a dance in. In fact, he almost kind of looks like Azura's, like, Nor dancer, just with, you know, purple hair instead of... Yeah, that's just kind of the thing, like, there aren't a whole lot of, like, emblems I like on Cedo, mostly because whenever he's using, like, a trigger skill, it means he's not dancing, and any time he's spent not dancing is time spent badly. Now, if I remember right, you guys have a lance as well, so I cannot use the Levin sword because I get broken. Gotta remember that. But yeah, it's a shame, though, because Cedo has some really cool engage outfits.
I'm here with the Divine Dragon.
I love how he says that at, like, such a fanboy, because, you know, he is one. So, 50 attack. But on 29 defense, though, so they're only doing, like, 21 damage to him each. I want to say he's fine. You know what? Now might actually be a decent time for Fortify Plus. Let's go. Ultimate Fortirity! I do, it's interesting how in Heroes, like, they made staves, like, actually an offensive weapon. It was kind of interesting how they handled that. But then they had to introduce, like, the, all of those, like, staff, like, dazzling staff and that kind of thing, which is what Veronica's weapon here is a reference to. Oh, hey, good, you actually do have a perfect hit rate. I was worried that you wouldn't, and then that would have been terrible.
You didn't give it your all.
Huh, okay, that's one of the pile of quotes that Jean doesn't use, so that would make sense that I'm not really used to that one. Oh, right, I did promise to Astrostorm here. I do need to get, like, I do need to get myself close to the other crystal, though. I forget if you can Astrostorm the crystals. Doesn't look like they're in range. I think it has to be an enemy. Yeah, it has to be an enemy. Okay, well, let's just Astrostorm the further away Wyvern.
By my hand.
So, while we're fighting these enemies here, and yeah, there's not a whole ton of enemies at the moment left, this does lead me to just something that I really wanted to talk about here, and that's how I completely putting aside the whole Mary Sue thing from my first playthrough. I've already talked, like, at length about my, right, wait a minute. I still want to use that staff, I just want to make sure that I'm equipping a weapon that will actually let me double on the counterattack. Yeah, the Mary Sue thing was never meant to be a criticism, like, or a diaphragm ship of, like, the Chrom Robin pairing, but all that aside, I don't ship Chrom and Robin. I've never really liked the ship very much. It just, to me, it just falls into that thing of, like, oh, the main male and main female characters have to be shipped, don't they? Because, like, it's impossible for, like, a guy and a girl to be anything but romantic with each other. And it just, I don't know, I just, to me, I always felt like the story actually worked better when Chrom and Robin were just friends. It's not a particularly common opinion, But I just, like, I'm even more okay with Dimitri and Byleth than I am with Chrom and Robin, and I don't even like Dimitri and Byleth all that much. Now, I do believe there will be reinforcements coming from the bottom soon, so I'm going to go down here entirely because Tamara hasn't really done a whole lot. Oh, hey, Life Sphere. Oh, right, you. I suppose I can send you down here too, except in a couple of turns you're going to be gone. Okay, Reprisal was actually factored into my damage there. I've heard that Reprisal can actually lie to you in the damage forecast sometimes, because the damage forecast implies that, like, oh, this is really low damage for an enemy Wyvern. Like, they're normally really weak to magic. But yeah, like, I've heard that the damage forecast can, like, lie to you because it assumes the enemy will hit. Like, it takes into account the Reprisal damage, but, like, if you don't get hit and lose the HP, you won't be getting the Reprisal damage. And, yep, that's what I was prepared for with, also, yeah. Yeah, that's actually annoying. You get the Chain Guarders in, and they Chain Guard Chrom and Robin, obviously, so it makes them a little bit more annoying to fight. But yeah, I was specifically waiting to go down here and then, get 2 shots at Sandstorm or crits, or Sandstorm and crits, I guess? But it's just, it's just more that, like, I've kind of grown to appreciate platonic relationships lately, especially between, like, opposite gender characters. Just because it's something that you don't really see all that often, and it can be kind of refreshing when you do see it. One that I do personally find quite interesting. Alfred and Etier in Engage. So, when I first played Engage, and I got Alfred and Etier's C and B supports, I was like, oh, these two are really similar. They both like working out and stuff, they both have known each other for a long time. You know, if this was a game that actually allowed people besides Aaliyah to be paired, I could see myself shipping them. I recently looked up what their A support is, and in their A support, Alfred mentions that, like, Queen Ev, his mother, used to think that Etier would be his queen one day. And when he says that, they both laugh it off, and are like, nah, I can't imagine us being anything but what we are now. And I just was like, huh. That's honestly really refreshing, and it's a kind of relationship you can only really have in a game that doesn't have, like, full-on S supports for every character. Because it's just, the thing that I do kind of get, though, is that it does suck when there is a pairing that you personally do ship, but it is not possible as per the game mechanics. This is something that I saw in, weirdly enough, the comments of, like, a Someone Show video that I was looking at about shipping. Because, like, somebody said that, like, oh, I had a massive crush on Jack in Mass Effect, but she's only romanceable by male Shepard. And, like, I do get why that can be annoying. It's just that kind of balance, but at the same time, sometimes when you have every character be available to be romanced by, like, the Avatar, it does also result in... It also leads to a potential lack of diversity in, like, character types. For example, Mimir from Fire Emblem Blazing Sword, from Fire Emblem Binding Blade, that is. So, Mimir is an older, like, significantly older woman. The cynic in me says there is no way in hell we will ever get a character like her again while Avatar romances are a thing. Because that's just the kind of thing. They're just like, well, yeah, predominantly young, straight male audiences don't want to romance an old woman, so let's just not include a character like that if they would have to be an option for the Avatar. It kind of limits the sort of characters that you can design. And yeah, it also does, like, Three Houses did have some platonic male-female pairs. Like, for example, it had, I believe, Raphael and Leonie. I believe their paired ending is platonic, or at least heavily implied to be platonic. But, like, that game also had me fall afoul of the other thing as well, because I really shipped Ash and Ingrid, and then I found out their paired ending on Azure Moon is only ambiguously romantic, whereas their paired ending on every other route is unambiguously romantic, which is the complete reverse of Felix, which is kind of strange. I was afraid there'd be more reinforcements there, because I saw that lag before the turn ended, but right. Can I actually get a Seedol kill here? That would be really funny. No. That's unfortunate. Speaking of unfortunate, you're like, oh, wait, I don't care about you being just out because I can just dance for you. But yeah, it's just kind of a thing, like, I always did feel... So, to me, here's what the core relationship dynamic of Awakening was to me. Like, and just looking at this, like, the dialogue before this Divine Paralogue, it's like, wow, I saw Awakening so differently than it was intended to be seen. Because to me, the first arc was all about Chrom and Emerin. The second arc was all about Chrom and Lucina. And it's just kind of a thing with me in Awakening. I always preferred the parent-child dynamics in that game. Like, that was really, like, because I barely even got any of the second-gen supports outside of their parents and their siblings. Like, I always preferred the familial dynamics there. But anyway, so yeah, and the final arc, as I said, I felt like the core relationship was Lucina and Robin with Chrom on the sidelines. And even then, I do not ship Robin and Lucina at all. Like, I don't think it's, like, creepy or anything, but I do personally... Oh yeah, there's Meteor, that's why you mages were moving forward, I guess. But I do personally just... I don't know, I'm not a huge... Can I... Nope, you can't walk past that barrier. Oh, but I can explode that with my Thoron.
The barrier is still standing.
We have not gotten over it yet.
It looks like we'll need to destroy all the crystals to get through.
No, don't worry, I'm on that. I should be at least. Ivy should have enough damage to destroy this. Yeah, good. I think they're destroyed in one hit, like by anybody. Because it looks like everyone's doing 40 damage to them. If I break the barrier this turn, am I in Failnaught range?
Excellent. We destroyed all the crystals.
And there we go.
Down. Hurry.
I just realized I need to wait for Relee's engage to wear off because I don't think he'll get special dialogue with Lucina if, okay, yeah, I'm actually not in range with Failnaught. But yeah, like, he's, like, it overwrites his emblem, basically. Oh, I am definitely in range of you, though. And I get to one-shot you, so I don't need to worry about being countered. One less Meteor.
I won?
It's kind of funny that Sigurd's not here because he has bad experiences with Meteors. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get the conversation if I let Chrom attack Aaliyah now, so I'm going to have to wait for it to wear off. Oh yeah, and we also get Rally Spectrum, or as I used to know it back when Awakening was only in Japanese, Rainbow Cry. Because all of the rally skills were called Cry skills. I don't really want you guys going towards, oh no, Robin's staying still. I definitely appreciate, don't appreciate that though. Oh, okay. Interesting. I think that's the first time we're seeing those. They normally only, like, first show up in Fel Xenologue 1. These are, very creepy wolf-scorpion hybrid things. They make a lot more sense when they're corrupted. But they have this really annoying skill called Pack Hunter, which lets them spam chain attacks on you. Yeah, they're not considered cavalry, unlike Wolf Knights. I guess they only have the cavalry weakness while they're being ridden by an actual person. That is a lot of damage with Gig 11 Sword, though. So yeah, now I really do need to think about how I play this. I don't normally go this far up in the map, but anything for Amber getting his engage back. Yeah, see, I don't want to mess around with the reinforcements too much. I kind of want to just take down the bosses, but I do want to get... See, there's two sets of... Wait, if Aaliyah has Lucina, which one takes precedence? I just realized. Am I going to miss the Lucina ones because I have them on Aaliyah? I only just thought of that, because when I last played this map, I didn't have Lucina on Aaliyah. Okay, yeah, good. The Swordmasters aren't a threat to Tamara. I was hoping for that. See, now, normally, like, Wolf Knights, if you've got high defense, Wolf Knights aren't much of a problem. But when they get the chain attacks going, they become a real pain. Especially if there are a lot of other chain attackers in the area.
This item is not for sale!
Okay, Robin can't use the engage attack, so if I have you go... Oh, that's a chain guard. You know, right now might be a good time for a freeze. Do you still get frozen if you get chain guarded? Let's see. Yes, it still freezes. That's good. So now with you two stuck, it means that I can burst you down without needing to worry about that archer yet.
I won't let this go to
And it also means that barring any healing, they're not going to get chain guarded again. That's a really strange pattern of, like, attack tiles, since I've got something frozen that can't melee. Let's just Moolah gear. Okay, how about I get Lucina's engage back, and then I... And I do want to win this as quickly as I can, because otherwise we will be in trouble regarding reinforcementage.
Goodbye.
Veronica, why are you making those weird noises? Now, hopefully, the only noise I hear is the triumphant triumphant sandstorm sound of my own sandstorm! And this is why I was a little worried about these Sword Masters, because chain attacks. I feel like she's gonna have Tiki back very soon. And then she'll still be just as vulnerable to chain attacks. Yeah, that plus 15% growth to build, that really goes a long way. You know, I really would appreciate some sandstorms here, just saying. Of course.
Okay, who's next?
The one time I get sandstorm, it's the one time that I don't need it. Meanwhile, you're dead. This reminds me of, like, this massive number of,
I won't let you do what you want.
Griffin Knights, that were... I remember there being a lot of Griffin Knights in, like, the late game chapters, the ones, like, the one with the Grima Volcano. In fact, you know what? Weird confession time. I've never actually said this before, just because I felt kind of bad about it. So, okay. You want to hear something funny? The playthrough that I did of Awakening, that was actually my first time ever playing chapters 21 through Endgame in Awakening.
I cannot afford
My first playthrough of Awakening never made it past chapter 21, just because I got kind of bored, because my second generation build was so overpowered that I was just, like, everything was just dying in droves, and yeah, it was just boring. So I kind of stopped playing. And so I actually intentionally tried to hold back my second gen, like, builds in the playthrough, just to make sure that didn't happen again. Holy crap, wow, you have a lot of defense. Yeah, that's quite a... Oh, that's because of the rally spectrum. So, Tamara might be in trouble here, and I no longer have... Oh, no, I do actually have a rescue staff, which I might need to use here. Okay, can just barely yoink Tamara. Yoink! Yeah, rescue staff, speaking of which, yeah, another broken thing in Awakening is rescue staffs are, like, only E-ranked, and they're buyable in infinite numbers from just random Annas on the map. Random Annas on the map, there's a sentence, but it makes sense. Also, look, Robin's scale tipping has kind of backfired now, because it's blocking the reinforcements from moving forward. See, I'm really tempted to just use some Dragon Vein to clear the water, but I'm almost out of here anyway. Now, Robin versus Yu's probably not going to be that, although admittedly Ivy's resistance is not, like, the greatest in the world. However, maybe I can get a bondage shield going. I feel like I haven't done that for a little while. Nope, no engage plus, regular engage, I need Lucina. Oh boy, So engage changes that damage down to only 16. Just sort of want to, at the very least, just stop you from chain guarding. Though this might miss. No, it didn't. Okay, that's fine. They're probably both going to pile in on Amber, though.
I'm not badly hurt.
Oh boy, this is actually really bad for Jean right now. Actually, I may have needed to use rescue on him? Is he actually safer here? I'm almost wondering, because I mean, obviously I can't let Chrom attack him, but like if I get rid of the puncher, he has 49 resistance. I actually think that Robin is fine.
strange that I'm fighting?
Like, this is really strange, throwing you right into the boss, but honestly, as long as Chrom can't reach you, and as long as Robin doesn't have any physical weapons, I actually think Jean is safer there. If I use Flame Gambit, I may have potentially, messed up plans.
Who's next?
You know, I only just realized that bits of You May Call Me Marth are also in this in Destiny. There are actually quite a few leitmotifs in Awakening. Well, yeah, I can Yato you in the face. I did not mean that to be a face-touching joke.
I've decided.
You know, at this point, which Divine Dragon do you serve? Aaliyah or Corrin? So, okay, so I am freaking out right now about Jean. I really hope I predicted correctly regarding him being safe to Robin. Hello. Oh yeah, Robin chain attacks regardless of where he is, I guess. Yeah, you went right for Amber. Kind of makes sense. I'm like, why is your chain attack doing so much damage? And then I'm like, oh right, yeah, it's just Amber has a lot of HP and it's percentage based. I am still, honestly, very nervous about this, because, yeah, there's a lot of reinforcements right now. Thankfully, there aren't any more reinforcements yet. I don't like these two existing, though. Right, how do I do this, then? The Bonded Shield is, like, maybe possible. Okay, so Bonded Shield there. Great Ether for good measure. I am very much winging it right now. Meanwhile, Anna is near Wolf. Actually, the Rapier is going to buff my Avoid to the point where the Wolves can barely hit me. Oh, right, that's Dragon Effectiveness from Falchion. Oh, yeah, I gotta remember that, because, like, that's actually really useful in the early game of Awakening against enemy Wyvern Riders. Mostly because Chapter 5 is... Which chapter is it? It's the one with... The one where Maribel and Rickon first join. Like, that's actually a really rough map in that game. Minor idea here. I kind of just want to say, I may need Astral Storm, so I'm just going to get that back. Life Sphere up. Well, I mean, I guess last use of this.
I owe you my life.
I do need to remember that Gig 11 Sword is indeed a thing. Okay, thankfully Chrom can't actually get into range for it, though. Because that does pierce Bonded Shield, because every engage attack does. Of course he still has Thorn equipped. I don't even know if I would have doubled the Paladins anyway, but still, it's a little annoying. Is there, like, any reason I would not want Clan to get attacked here? I mean, I could Vein of Water. I mean, the Avoid penalty isn't really going to matter for Amber because he's got Ike. So, this might actually stop Chrom from getting too close. Let's see. Kind of turning their tactic against him. I kind of like how my water and their water look a little bit different.
Watch out!
Okay, a kind of pathetic attack to Chain Guard, but still. It's just more about where Robin goes. Hi, Robin! And I am getting doubled, right. I mean, his Levin Sword looks way fancier in its animation than mine. Makes sense, though. This is kind of his... Like, Levin Sword kind of became Robin's thing. No, I think Shadow Dragon was the first officially localized Fire Emblem game to have the Levin Sword in it. Pretty sure that was Shadow Dragon. Because it was called the Thunder Sword in Japanese, which leads to a bit of a funny mistranslation with the, their engage skill, Gig 11 Sword. It's actually supposed to be Arc Thunder Sword. Because Arc Thunder in Japanese is Giga Thunder, and Levin Sword in Japanese is Thunder Sword. So it's not Giga Thunder Sword, it's Giga Thunder Sword. I.e. Arc Thunder Sword. Huh, rare case of an enemy actually getting ally defense active. So, okay, Robin's lost one health bar. I do not have Byleth, but I have another Dancer in the area. I think I might be able to beat both of them, but I may need to use some rewinds to see if I get conversations with, like, Aaliyah, because... the Lucina conversations are really good, but I feel like they're gonna get overridden. So do I get Aaliyah's or do I get Lucina's?
I'm curious to see what you've got. Show me the leader we're joining forces with.
Yeah, that's obviously not Lucina.
Happy to, Emblem Robin. Our strategies may not impress a tactician like you, but the bonds among my allies are strong.
I think Chrom was right. You do seem worthy of our trust.
Robin's also like, huh, I feel like you might have picked up that quote from somewhere. Have you met a friend of mine?
Robin, you came along with Father, I see.
You get both! I did not realize that. That's actually cool.
That's right. I never left Chrom's side.
I feel a bit self-conscious fighting my father's other half, but I will do the best I can.
Yeah, see, this whole thing about the other half, I never really saw it that way.
I understand how you feel, but don't hold anything back.
It almost reminds me about how, like, Frodo and Sam was actually very much more of a master-servant kind of relationship in the original Lord of the Rings books. It's more the movies that changed it to a mutual friendship to avoid, like, awkward implications. And it does feel kind of more like how I saw Chrom and Robin's relationship. To me, it always felt strictly professional. Robin was just, like, a tactician that Chrom hired, and that was kind of about it. Like, and I always felt like the story made more sense, but it was interesting. It had extra, like, implications if Robin had a family outside of Chrom. The loneliest all for one. Okay, see, I don't want to actually go Tiki here, because if I beat Robin with a ranged weapon, I have chain attack on Chrom.
Here we go.
And that may be necessary for breaking through 3 health bars.
Underestimated the danger.
The danger, huh? Okay. Still like Robin's cloak, though. Well, I mean, I suppose Ivy is unlikely to... I say she's unlikely to contribute to the Chrom battle, but she actually kind of is. I can... hopefully... No! Huh. Unless I get, like, 1 billion Lunas!
By my hand, I see you!
It was a few Lunas, but not. I mean, at least it's a level up. That's probably worth it. You know, I should probably first go for Clan, just for the Draconic Hex debuff.
I'll go first.
Come on!
Okay, we do have some good chain attacks going here. I mean, I don't want to go right up next to him, though. It's just that I do think I need this extra IP damage on Chrom. Okay, thank you for not dodging that, because that was actually really kind of necessary, because I have to break 2 more health bars. Okay, well, Lapis just obliterates a health bar, so no worries there. In fact, you know, I've definitely got this between, like, Jean and everyone else. Yeah, I've definitely got this. In fact, let's go for this, just because...
Here we go.
Come on!
Goodbye.
Veronica still makes very weird noises when she's fighting. I sort of want to finish with All for One, if I can. It'd be funny using Ragnar on Chrom because he would recognize that.
Allow me.
A really beaten up old version of it. Okay, I should actually be able to finish this with All for One then. Silver Blade, and still only a 3-person All for One.
I can tell by your form that you're no stranger to battle. You know what you're doing.
I've learned a lot along the way, but I still have a goal to achieve.
Unlike Chrom and Lucina when they first fought, Aaliyah can say, I learned my swordsmanship from my mother, not father.
You've got as much determination as Robin does. I can see it in your eyes. Now, let's get started. I'm ready when you are.
Father, I never expected to see you in this world, too.
Lucina, I wasn't expecting to see you either.
And then Chrom's like, oh crap, no, I'm no longer ready.
We've got a lot of catching up to do, but let's save it until after the battle.
Of course. It has been a long time since we sparred. Let's both try not to break anything.
Yeah, I think it's been definitively proven now that Masked Lucina in Chapter 4 of Awakening can't critical at all.
Can't be defeated here.
And Okay, that was touch and go for a bit towards the end, but I managed to get all the conversations and also beat both of them. If I wasn't going for the conversations, I would have lured the two of them way earlier than that.
Well, I think that settles it. I've got my answer. How about you, Chrom?
Yes, indeed. We saw a tremendous display of strength and resolve.
Yes, literal resolve in the case of Ike with Amber.
You are both bold in your actions and sincere in your beliefs. I'm impressed.
So you'll join us?
Sorry for the trouble, but I wanted to be sure. Yes, we'll help you.
Let's join forces and usher this world toward an era of peace.
Thank you, Emblem Chrom. Emblem Robin, with you on our side, I've got more hope for our world than ever.
Hope, yes. That's the key to your peaceful world right there.
And it's up to us to spread that hope, so the world doesn't fall to despair.
Wait, was Awakening out before or after the first Danganronpa? Because I was gonna say, it was probably doing Hope and Despair before it did.
I think it's very important to breathe life into that goal by speaking it aloud.
Yes, by saying, Hope, Despair! Hope, 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 Despair, Despair, Despair!
Well said. If our goal is to bring hope to the world, we can't be half-hearted about it. There have been times in my life when I've been close to despair. In those moments, it was only thanks to Robin and our friends that I didn't give up. Even when I was destined to die, we conquered fate by trusting and inspiring each other.
Yeah, at this point, Aaliyah's probably like, wait, what?
That's right. And so long as you hold on to hope, you'll be capable of the same.
Don't lose hope now!
I understand. I'll take those words to heart.
Did David Vincent ever voice anybody in Danganronpa?
That's the spirit. We look forward to joining you in the battles to come.
Father! Robin! It's been too long.
Lucina, I'm so happy to see you again.
You look well. And you've become an emblem just like us. Incredible.
I do kind of like this implication that, like, to Fire Emblem protagonist becoming an emblem is like a high honor, so rip Eliwood.
Chrom does almost nothing but worry about you. It's a little tiresome, if I'm honest.
We weren't going to discuss that in front of her.
Yeah, this right here, I will admit, Chrom and male Robin's supports, I do like them better than Chrom and female Robin, so, like, I'm a little more okay with that shit, but even then, I'm still not really a fan of the, like, an old married couple bantering, because that's just never how I saw these two.
You really worry that much?
Of course I do. I'm your father.
Yeah, because this right here, again, like, I personally just... The relationship in Awakening I was way more invested in was the father-daughter relationship between Chrom and Lucina.
But now that we're together again, I can finally rest easy.
It does feel as if a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders. Now we can fight side by side again, like we did in Elise.
Elise, yeah, that's how it's pronounced. I mean, I know that, you know, Sumia, and this is another reason why I don't ship Chrom and Robin, because I just feel so bad for Sumia. She just gets treated so badly. But, like, she does say it in a crit quote, but, like, I always used to think this was, like, Yillis. Because it's Iris in Japanese, because Id and Plegia were both named after flowers, and that's a little bit lost in the translation.
Nothing would make me happier.
Together, we'll make this world a better place.
Together.
Because, like, the art book for Awakening is called Knights of Iris, I think. And that would be every divine paralogue. And that's actually the end of all the content I plan to cover where I'll be able to use my primary team. Or is it? I may be covering some of the relay trials later, and we'll get to see my main team again, but the Fel's Interlog works a little bit differently, and I'm honestly a little bit worried about that, because I know that Jean is really screwed over in the Fel's Interlog. Clan, I have never tried Clan there, and he might also be a little bit messed up, because I believe he would be locked into Sage there, and I much prefer Mage Knight.
Nicely done.
But, as always, I will take more Matthew Mercer in anything, any day.
That's fantastic.
Yes, I was totally not just winging it at all. Yeah, we're gonna head back to the Somniel because I want to try and get, like, one Bond conversation with Chrom before we end things. I really don't know who I'd really use them on. Like, I like that plus 10 magic on, like, pure mages. In my test file, I used them on Jean, and that was actually surprisingly good. It's just like, I kind of like making a mage even more overkill rather than just making a physical person more of a mage. But on Anna might be alright as well. I'm kind of thinking I might just go for Aaliyah, but the Bond conversations may end up being generic. Although, speaking of Bond conversations... Fine. Oh, it's only B.
Tiki, since we've been friends for a while, I decided to write you a song. Wanna hear it?
Oh, no.
Oh, yes, please. I love your songs. You'll have to teach me the words so we can sing together.
Oh, unfortunately we don't get to hear it, but that might be fortunately for some people. Yeah, it kind of almost reminds me of, like, yeah, one of my, like, personal favorite pairings for Robin is Pan, and one of the reasons why is because she's, like, one of the only people who actually likes his cooking. I was reminded of that there with, you know, Tiki actually liking Tamara's singing. Dimitri is just in the dog field alone.
I see.
Huh, interesting. I mean, I guess he's kind of treating that similarly to a certain loss in Three Houses. I did like how differently the Three Lords all reacted to that. Now, this is a bit of a gamble, because I don't know if the Bond conversation between... Wow, I've actually capped resistance on Aaliyah. Between Aaliyah and Chrom is actually that good. Oh yeah, you can train with Robin too.
I am Robin, tactician for the Shepherds.
Oh yeah, by the way, speaking of localization stuff, the Shepherds were simply called Chrom's Vigilantes in the Japanese script. But I've already mentioned that because of the Sentinels, they were also called that in Japanese.
It's strange. Although we haven't fought together long, I feel we understand each other.
Yeah, not long at all.
I'm glad you feel that too. I hope our bond continues to grow as we work together.
And here in the arena, the best way to grow that bond is to fight each other. Oh, I don't have enough. Alright. I guess we're only seeing one bond conversation between them today. We're now done with the Divine Paralogs. Which means the next time, little Aaliyah is gonna fall down a well into an alternate universe. Join me then as we explore the darkest timeline of Helios.